Last week, we had a hard talk about sacrifice, and we saw that it is the sacrifice that evaluates, that elevates, and that esteems the individual making it. We make sacrifices all the time, but we simply don't characterize it as a sacrifice when we give up something we determine has markedly lesser worth. Our culture has devalued children to the point that we no longer think of spending meaningful time with our children as a necessary commitment to make, but almost as something to be avoided. And I'll go one step further. We consider it a great benefit to be able to forego spending time with our own offspring. The culture maintains that to forfeit a child is a precious luxury. You know the whole back to school campaign that they run, getting everyone ready for fall schedules. There was a commercial run a few years ago about back to school. It showed giddy, elated parents dragging their annoyed children through the stationery aisles and office product stores shopping for back to school. The music playing was, "It's the most wonderful time of the year."
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's that time of year again. They're going back! It's back to school time at Staples.
Over 7,000 supplies at guaranteed low prices. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
I always found that commercial creepy. The parents looked forward to disengaging themselves of their children, and the kids were not at all excited about school or shopping for new things. I recall being on the text chain 2 years after I quit public school. The moms were planning to get together after drop-off that first day back. They were so excited to meet up that morning and were joking about how difficult it would be for them. They would commiserate and cry in their mimosas over relinquishing their precious little children. I remember feeling so sad for them and for their children because they had no idea what they were actually giving up. They felt like they were regaining autonomy by surrendering their children, but they completely missed the point. And so, today, we will delve into personal autonomy. But Sam, how is a parent supposed to educate 3 small children and hold down a job and keep the house clean and? All right, here's the plan. I will tell you how, and then you will gain more autonomy in your life, not lose it by dropping off your children to some so-called expert who is there for the paycheck and beholden to a system that hates children. Oh, that sounded harsh. I don't know. If you've seen inner city schools and have a smidgen of understanding of the education system, you know it disdains children. You must. Teachers might love children, but the system? Well, for one, the system hates individualism. Okay, not to get too far off topic. Let's talk about multiple kids, because I fear that a lot of parents are thinking a child spends 7 hours in school each day. How can I replicate that for 4 kids? That's 28 hours per day. What? But that parent is thinking about the entire thing wrong. And that's why we are calling this thing we are embarking on self-teaching. So I'm offering more autonomy for less responsibility. Crazy, right? For the purposes of this discussion, autonomy means independence, the condition of self-government or freedom from external control, like freedom from the school, from the establishment's claim on your schedule, demanding you perform a certain way, or requiring your participation in things you don't care to do. That kind of autonomy. But also the other kind, the ability to self-determine, to design your own schedule, your own life, to grab the wheel and steer the car to go where you want it to. The struggle, as I see it now, is with autonomy in general. People like to be told what to do. I suspect it stems from our very school system, where we learned to behave, follow the rules, respect our schoolmasters, and, above all, to not stand out. But regardless of how it originated, well, we are a little stuck. Admit it. You prefer thinking they know what they are doing and you don't have a clue. It lets you off the hook. I know. I was there. I enjoyed feeling like I was delegating my authority to the school, and the school was serving my child, because retaining the power meant accepting responsibility, and that was a tremendous burden. It seems that we like to give up our freedom, especially if the exchange is for something we value, like safety, and sending a child into a system of quote-unquote education seems like the safe play, doesn't it? It did to most people until just recently. Yes, suddenly parents are waking up to some nasty surprises in our schools, realizing they've been ceding their authority and their children to tyrants and perverts. And now they face a dilemma because they must wrest their authority back, but they lack the authority, in their own eyes, to do so. Our discussion today is just about that. Your authority inside your home and your autonomy to control it. Self-teaching is about empowering both the parent and the child, setting you both free from the system's tyranny and helping you both fulfill the dreams you never knew you had. So, let's discuss your children and how best to serve them, which won't look like outsourcing their education to the government. You retain your autonomy and you say, but now what? I haven't been educated in how to educate. But you only think that because you've been taught that it's difficult and requires years of study to know how to do this thing called education. Ha! That's a fib, designed to intimidate you. It's a similar paradigm to how you learned English, or whatever your mother tongue is. You see, because learning comes naturally to children and it's driven by curiosity, you need really only to guide their exploration. So do that. You know what reading is and what it entails. Letters, the alphabet, and phonics. You can do that, and there are books to help you. You know what math involves. Numbers, operations, equations. You can do that, and there are books to help you. Show your little ones how to hold a pen and give them copywork, for starters. You can do that, and there are books to help you. Then, through some of your exploration, asserting your autonomy over yourself and your children, discovering other avenues using the tools at your disposal, the internet, other self-teaching families, and the library. I used to take my kids to the library once a week. We would typically arrive with 2 large canvas bags filled with books to return. Our local library had a beautiful aquarium with gorgeous saltwater fish in it. So we'd spend a few minutes watching the fish, and then we'd get lost in the stacks until it was time to go. At that point, each of us would have a stack of books to check out. Oh, and videos to watch. We enjoyed putting on nature, history, or science videos for our lunch breaks on days we were home. It's an easy way to relax for a bit while still learning, although passively. But there's always museums and other kinds of exhibits to stimulate minds and encourage learning. We believe the schools know exactly what is necessary for your child to learn, but that's not entirely true.